For the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which we stand, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, I'll check.
Good morning. I'll call this Moffett County Board of County Commissioners regular meeting to order on Tuesday, March 24th, 2026. Chair would move to approve the agenda, pulling item 3, road and bridge snowplow truck bid.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And chair would move to approve the consent agenda, items A through H as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. And that will bring us down to public comment. If there's anybody who has any public comment today that would like to share that with us, now is your opportunity.
Is that where we talk about the Northwest Colorado Opioid Council? Lisa Graham and I are trying to be the delegates for that council.
If you have a comment that you'd like to make about it, you can, but we'll address it on the agenda at that time. Yeah, perfect. Anyone else for public comment? Hearing none, I'll move on to general discussion. I just have a couple of employee anniversaries to recognize for March. We have 3 employees, Tim Alexander, Shad Curtis, and Michael Stoffel with the Road and Bridge, who have been there for 32 years this year. Dave Simoneau with the Sheriff's Office at 25 years. Marty Blevins with the Road Department at 20 years. And we have 3 people who have made 11 years with Moffett County. Glory B. Ramos at the Senior Center is 11 years. And Katrina Willie and Matt Moore actually have an 11-year anniversary today. And I have a whole list of other people who are rolling close to that 10-year mark that I usually recognize from there on. So any other general discussion? Right. So now we will go to the Northwest Colorado Regional Opioid Abatement Council appointments. And we do have 2 interested parties in that, Elizabeth Flaherty and Lisa Graham. And what is the board's pleasure?
Chair, I would make a motion to appoint Lisa Graham and Elizabeth Flattery to the Opioid Council. Second.
Okay. Motion is second. Any further discussion? I would just say thank you. I know that one's really important for us to have representation on, and
Very important.
and appreciate that dedication. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We do have a public hearing at 8:45, so we'll jump past that and see if we can get natural resources. Do you think you can do that in our bridge? So Jeff Comstock, Natural Resources Department. Good morning.
Morning, Commissioners. There are 2 resolutions in front of you today, one on Browns Park School and one on a nuclear resolution. Let's start with the Browns Park School one. This resolution, actually, our county attorney created, Max, and I really like what he did. What he did is he authorized Donald Broom to do the sale and transfer of the Browns Park School to the Browns Park Alumni Association and process any BLM paperwork as the BLM transfers that to us. I think and so what it does is it authorizes us to sell once we receive the school from the land under the school from the Bureau of Land Management, we will be paying $17,000 as per the appraised value for that. And immediately Donald then would have authority to receive $17,000 from the Alumni Association and transfer it directly to them. And that includes everything from special warranty deed, bill of sale, and the sale of contract. There is a public comment period on the BLM transferring that land to the county that's now expired. And some of the comments that came in were really off base, and I want to address one or two of them. Well, some of the comments were, there's no way the county needs to own a piece of land from the BLM. Don't be transferring more land into the government. And I just want to very clearly state that for the last 25 years, the Alumni Association, which is landowners and people in Browns Park, have valued that school and as a community center. And they've rebuilt it, they've put money into the flooring and windows and everything. The land in which it sits on is in trespass. It's a survey error and it sits on BLM land. The only way to pass that land on with the building itself is for BLM to release it, give it to a government, which is us, the county, and then the county can immediately transfer it to the Alumni Association. So it's super clear that people understand the county's not acquiring anything. We are facilitating a community group to be giving them being a funnel so they can receive a piece of land to function off of a community center that they've been using for the last 25 years. And I just felt I should say that because so many comments came in thinking we were acquiring property, and all we are is a facilitator.
Process for 25 years.
25
Right. So it's not
years.
like we just did this yesterday. I mean,
No.
they've been in process for as long as they've controlled it.
Yes.
So
Yeah, and it's a wonderful thing. That community has taken ownership of that place, and they hold their version of Oktoberfest. It's a hunter festival stuff. They have all kinds of community events out there, so it's a win for that part of our county. But anyway, this resolution in front of you authorizes Donald to do the transfers and to sign the paperwork as it comes on. It is not a loss to the county at all. We're merely a facilitator in this process. And I actually want to thank Max for thinking of this strategy, because what it does is it actually lets this happen instantaneously once we acquire the land from BLM.
Perfect. Okay.
let me make a motion because he's signing. Yeah. Chair, I'd make a motion to approve resolution 2026-39.
Now second. Any further discussion? Thanks, Max. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. And resolution 2026-42.
So this is a resolution supporting Western and Southern Colorado counties in supporting a submission for the request for information the Department of Energy has asked for those who are interested in having a discussion about the nuclear future of this country. And Melody went to a conference couple months ago in Tennessee, where the process had switched from originally an expression of interest to a request for information. And what she learned in that is that if any state is interested in having a discussion about the whole life cycle of a nuclear energy policy within the country, they need to raise their hands and they need to submit a answer to a few questions, like what kind of assets do you have in your state? What kind of things are important that you might be able to contribute into a future nuclear economy? And we signed a letter about a month ago encouraging the governor's office to submit that for the state. And we've recently learned that the governor's office, at their own admission, isn't going to address the full life cycle stuff. It's not going to address several key opportunities that communities might have. And many counties on the western slope and even on the southern part of Colorado around Pueblo area really want that full discussion to happen. It won't happen through the governor's submission. And so we are endorsing a western slope and southern process. And so what this resolution does says we raise our hand as a state, different than the Front Range, that we want to have these discussions with Department of Energy. It does not. This, by submitting a request for information to Department of Energy, it does not in any way commit to a decision. It does not commit to any reactor sites or site selection. It does not commit to nuclear storage. None of those red flags that we hear about in the news are part of this submission. What it does do is it opens the door for a discussion, especially on things like manufacturing facilities, supply chains, community engagement, actually raising your hand and having a discussion saying Western Colorado wants to be part of a discussion of a future economy. And when we're looking at the situation we're facing in Moffett County, we don't want to close any of the doors. And so what's in front of you is a resolution that says we'll endorse a Western Slope and Southern Colorado process in addition to the governor process. It'll be a separate submission that will be a complete answer to all the Department of Energy's requests for information questions, unlike the incomplete one that we expect coming from the state. And so that's a good introduction. Melody, you've been involved with this as much as anybody.
Yeah, I would just add that when we approached the state and talked about this, they had heard about the RFI. They weren't anticipating submitting anything on their own, but because counties had asked, they looked into doing that. And like you said, at our last report from governor's staff, Department of Energy staff, that they recognized that their application would be incomplete. They recognized that we probably would not be considered as a state, and that they recognized they didn't have a lot of time to have communities have input into the submission that they were putting forth. So with that, we didn't want to be overlooked, and we didn't want to be out of the conversation. And like Jeff said, we're not committing to any site selection or anything like that, but we're saying we want more information. We want to be able to have more information in our community. We want to be able to have full conversations with our community, and we don't want to be.
And neighboring states.
Yeah, absolutely, as a region. So that was some of the strong conversation that took place in Oak Ridge, was with Utah and Wyoming and Idaho, and how there are parts that they're absolutely interested in that we're not, but together we create a really strong region. So that's all I would add. Any questions for Jeff?
Nope.
Okay. Chair would entertain a motion.
Hey, Chair, make a motion to approve resolution 2026-42, a resolution of participating Western and Southern Colorado counties supporting participation in the evaluation of a regional nuclear life cycle innovation campus.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just think the important thing about that is we're at the table for future discussions. If we don't do this, we just don't even get to be part of the discussions.
And in strong communication with our region and neighboring counties.
Correct. Yes. Thanks.
Quote old Dan, what was Dan's name?
Dan Gates.
Dan Gates. If you're not at the table, you're on the menu.
Right.
You might as well.
All right, that puts us at 8:43, so we'll just have a very short recess before our public hearing. Let the record show that for today's public hearing regarding the proposed March 2026 supplemental budget, which was posted in the legal section of the Craig Press on Wednesday, March 18th, and posted in the Moffett County website on today's agenda. Once the public hearing has been declared, I will ask Heather Brumblow, Moffett County Lead Finance Specialist, to present the proposed March 2026 supplemental budget to the BOCC. Once Heather has completed the presentation, the commissioners may ask questions or make comments. I will then ask the audience if there's anyone who wants to testify either for or against. Any interested elector of Moffett County may testify once the public hearing has been declared and all information has been presented. For those who want to testify, you'll be asked to approach the commissioners, state your name for the record, and you'll be given 3 minutes to present your case either for or against. Erin Miller will be the timekeeper today, and she will notify the BOCC and the speaker that 20 seconds remain before your time is up. No decisions will be made during the public hearing. This is an opportunity for you to provide testimony in favor of or in opposition of the proposed request. Once all testimony has been heard, the public hearing will be declared closed and will go back into regular session. I'll then refer to my fellow county commissioners to consider approval of the March 2026 supplemental budget and any associated resolutions. With that, I will declare this hearing open, and Heather, you have the floor.
Would you rather me read them all or just any over 10,000?
I think typically you highlight the ones that are over 10,000.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
So, Resolution 2026-35, with over 10,000, I will start at transfers. The Finance Department requests a downward supplemental of $1,300,000 for both general and health and welfare, as the transfer from general to health and welfare was actually completed in the 2025 budget year, but it was put in the 2026 budget, so it's no longer needed. Other admin, the Finance Department requests to have a downward supplemental of $125,365.34 in LATC funds that were spent in the 2025 budget year, but were included in the 2026 budget. The Finance Department requests to transfer $23,712.22 from other professional services to the Office of Emergency Management's hazmat to pay for a 2025 cleanup expense that we just received the invoice. The Sheriff's Office requests to roll over $20,695.09 from the 2025 unspent employee education funds to be used towards their 2026 employee education expenses. The Sheriff's Office requests to roll over and transfer $60,000 from 2025 unspent equipment vehicle funds to be used towards 2026 miscellaneous equipment expenses. Those are being switched. The transfer part is since we're leasing, it's no longer a capital expense, they're just a regular expense. All Crimes Enforcement Team, the ACET team requests an increase in spending authority of $47,130 in vehicle upfitting that has been approved by the board and Moffett County Commissioners. Park and Recreational, the Facilities Department requests to roll over $58,921.49 from 2025 unspent capital improvement funds to be used towards the 2026 capital improvement expenses. Capital Project, the Finance Department requests an increased spending authority of $946,164.74 for a commissioner-approved land purchase that was not in the 2026 budget. Road and Bridge Department requests to roll over $299,111 from equipment miscellaneous to be utilized towards sanders that were approved in the 2025 budget but not available to purchase until 2026, and a dozer rebuild that was approved in the 2025 budget but due to time restrictions will be completed in 2026. The Road and Bridge Department requests to transfer $40,000 from Road and Bridge building capital to fuel pumps capital. Maybell Ambulance requests to roll over
$16,902.76 from previous year's unspent funds to miscellaneous equipment to be utilized for future equipment expenses. Maybell Fire Department request to roll over $21,794.93 from previous year's unspent funds to miscellaneous equipment to be utilized for future equipment expenses. The Public Health Office requests an unexpected revenue of $14,000 from CDPHE to be utilized towards wages, fringe, and retirement. Maybell Park Department requests to roll over $162,394.86 from previous year's unspent funds to miscellaneous equipment to be utilized for future equipment expenses. The Maybell Women's Club requests to roll over $25,069.14 from previous year's unspent funds to miscellaneous equipment to be utilized for future equipment expenses. The Moffett County Fair requests to roll over $168,118 even from operating supplies to be transferred towards the following accounts. Do you want me to go ahead and read through all of them? Okay. Judges is $6,000. Awards is $5,000. Advertising legal notices, $5,500. Queens, $1,271. Printing, $500. Copies, $500. Open horse show is $1,700. Entertainment is $103,000. Miscellaneous is $5,000. Operating supplies is $33,147. Fair book is $2,000. Security is $4,500. And Sunset Meadows, so the Development Services Department is requesting to roll over $11,057 from 2025's unspent interior building improvement funds to be used towards 2026 capital improvement expenses. This will make our budget supplemental request totals, unexpected revenues total of $14,000. Transfers will have a total of $299,330.22. Increased spending authority will have $1,001,118.74. Rollovers will have $884,896.25. Your downward supplementals will have $2,740,000. Sorry, that is, that's right. $740,091.50. Read that wrong. Totally for the whole budget supplemental, it will be $4,899,436.71. No change to our contingency, so it's going to stay at $625,000. And no change to our emergency reserve account. It will stay at the $1,537,547.
Any questions for Heather? All right. At this time, then, I will open it up. If anybody would like to testify for or against the budget supplemental that was just presented. Seeing none, I will go ahead and declare this hearing closed and refer back to my fellow commissioners.
I would first say before I make a motion that, we do this a couple times a year for the fact that it's hard to budget all these things and know exactly what's happening. It's not like we're just taking money and mixing it up, but sometimes another project comes open, so you got to move money just like you would in your checking account to another one. It's not like we're spending an extra $4 million. We're just maneuvering it, and we have to do it this way. So
Yeah.
I think it's important for the constituents to know that it's not like when we do a supplemental, we're just not spending extra money, but it's moving it from one hand to the next, but you have to be transparent in how you do that, so. Chair, I would make a motion to approve March supplemental budget resolution 2026-35.
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thanks, Heather.
Thanks.
All right, and now Human Resources Department, Rachel Bauer. Good morning.
Okay, so the first one here would be a resolution to request appointment of an interim housing director. Our current director is currently out on leave. So effective immediately, I'd like to request the board's approval to appoint Angela Luna. She's currently in our housing department and has been with us for quite a few years. She has helped out with quite a bit of stuff since our current director has been out of the office. Additionally, with the request to appoint an interim housing director, I'd like to also request approval to temporarily fill Angela Luna would be the employee that we would be requesting for the interim director position. And then we would also like to request to fill her position as well through a temp hiring agency or through posting a job advertisement if necessary. With this temporary interim position, it would be estimated to be up to 6 months. That can, however, change as well. With the change for the temporary position, we'd like to request approval to increase Angela's pay while she's performing the responsibilities of the interim director as well. The proposed grade would be 11E, which would be on an exempt grade pay scale. Currently, Angela is on a non-exempt, but we would keep it consistent with what the director receives right now, which is exempt. What I would request would be step 2 at $30.78. We do have with our current director being out, we do have the savings to be able to pay Angela this amount estimated for the 6 months as well on there too. I do think this is highly important to maintain business operations, leadership in the department, also for staffing support. And I do feel very confident that Angela can perform the necessary responsibilities of the position as well too. So I'd like to receive approval to move forward with appointing an interim director, also filling Angela's current position with a temp hiring agency or through a job advertisement through the county as well for estimated 6 months. And it is essentially temporarily for the requests on there too.
I would just say that also, we appoint this today, we approve this, but the Housing Authority Board has to approve it too, and we meet at 11, and so once we might be back, I don't know, right? So the Housing Authority says no, then we will be back at square one. I don't think they will, but just so we're clear that this isn't a final deal until the Housing Authority Board meets at 11, so.
Right.
Anything else? Chair would entertain a motion.
Hey, Chair, I make a motion to approve resolution 2026-41, appointing of interim director of the Moffett County Housing Authority.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. And back to you.
Okay, so the second request here, I'd like to request to extend employment offer for our veteran service officer position. This position has been vacant since the fall of 2025. Our office has posted several job advertisements. Through the last posting, which closed around the beginning of February. We did receive one application. We conducted interviews on March 3rd. The candidate is Brian Poole. So I would like to request approval to start the negotiation process with Brian, contingent on our pre-employment screening that our office conducts with all new hires for Moffett County, which would include doing a background check, reviewing for any possible conflicts of interest within the position, or any other standard requirements that we would need to review as well. So it would be contingent on the candidate successfully passing that pre-employment screening essentially. And just so you guys are aware too, the candidate, he does come highly recommended from the community. I can't say enough how many individuals have recommended him. And I feel like he does have a great presence in the veteran community as well from all the recommendations that I've received through our office as well.
Sure, I'll make a motion that we authorize Rachel, our HR director, to offer employment to Brian Poole for the Veteran Service Officer.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion?
We have some.
All in favor?
Aye.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And that concludes business today. We will meet again on Tuesday, April 14th, 2026.